Thank you, Congresswoman Garcia. I'm very proud to be associated with this endeavor. Always honored to work with you, and in tandem, we have been able to accomplish some things. Before I get to these things, I want to thank the district attorney. I want to thank you for not allowing the feds to bully you and convince you that somehow you don't have the authority to investigate. Any member of the constabulary can investigate. Some people confuse investigation with prosecution. Investigation is separate and apart, and it can allow us to have the transparency necessary to understand what happened. I thank you again for investigating. I want to thank our state representative, who's always with us when we are in need, and our county attorney, new on the job but working hard all the time. I thank the lawyer for what he has done, especially what you have done, sir, because what you've done is going to bring light to this that may have been in the shadows for too long already. I am going to make some comments now, and my first is Mr. Araujo belongs to us. He belongs to the Constitution of the United States of America. That Constitution applies to him just as it applies to me. He should not receive any less attention from the Constitution that I or any of you would receive. He belongs to us. He's in our jurisdiction. We have a duty and a responsibility, in fact, an obligation, to bring justice to this cause. Pursuant to this, at the prior press conference that we had, under the leadership of the Honorable Sylvia Garcia, that was on Wednesday, July 8th, I indicated at that time that I would be asking the Homeland Security Committee in Congress to take up this cause. I sent a letter. That letter has been in the hands of members of the committee. I especially talked to Benny Thompson, who is the ranking member on the committee. And he and I have conversed, and he has assured me of two things. One, he's going to do everything that he can to make sure that we investigate at the federal level. This committee has jurisdiction over ICE. He's going to make sure that he does everything. But he also assured me, and he asked that I share this with you, Congresswoman, that if we don't get the results we're looking for, we will have a shadow hearing right here in Houston, Texas. He will come to Houston, Texas. We will assemble our people. I told you that we would investigate. This is not something that we take lightly. And we don't have to ask. We don't have to beg. We don't have to plead. We don't have to beseech. We don't have to grovel. We can demand. This is what the Constitution allows. So I'm proud to tell you now that the Homeland Security Committee has sent a letter, or is sending a letter. I just signed on to it today. This is from members of the committee. And this letter is going to Secretary Mullen. I'm going to read the first paragraph of the letter, and then I'll read some of the excerpts. First paragraph reads, as members of the Committee on Homeland Security with jurisdiction over the Department of Homeland Security, DHS, we are investigating. Some things bear repeating. We are investigating the fatal shooting of Mr. Lorenzo Salgado Araujo, as well as the Trump administration's response to his killing. He belongs to us. The Constitution applies to him. Would you hold this for me, please? The balancing act that we have to do standing here. Thank you very much. Everybody knows I'm 78 years old, so help the old man out. Newspapers make sure you know that. But in any event, I want to read just a few excerpts. It says, we demand. Remember I told you earlier that we don't have to beg, we don't have to plead, and we don't have to grovel. We demand This is the Constitution. We demand that you immediately turn over to the committee the following information. I'll be brief with it. All video footage, including any body camera footage. Well, we know now that that doesn't exist, but for fear that someone may have overlooked it, we're asking for it. Number two, if there is no body camera footage, an explanation of why such footage was not recorded. We want to know why. You got $20 million. You said you were going to do it. This is negligence. If you haven't done it, or it's malfeasance, we'll find out. I'm on the committee. And I'm going to skip down to number 6. A description of how federal law enforcement officers on the scene identified themselves. The Congresswoman is right. And all of you would want to have proper identification if you're stopped by some folk in a black van. Number 8, a list and description of any previous complaints against or use of force incidents involving the ICE officer who shot Mr. Salgado Araujo. We want to know, what's your record? What's the record? Have you been charged before? Also, evidence of damage to vehicles. You made this claim about vehicles. Well, let's find out if there's evidence to support the claim. And then down to number 13. If Mr. Salgado was not an initial target of the operation, a description of when and why he became a target during this operation. You don't just arbitrarily and capriciously decide you're going to stop people in white vans, maybe because of the way they look, because they're in a white van. Multiple persons who look like they're Latino in a van. This is out of hand. This is out of hand. ICE has to be stopped. And the final one, number 17, I've skipped quite a few. Information regarding whether any of the witnesses to the shooting have been removed from the United States, we know better now, or signed paperwork for their removal. We're putting them on notice. Don't try to get rid of the evidence. They have evidence. Don't try to get them out of the country. And the final thing, which is probably the most important of all, it reads, as part of the committee's oversight, the committee expects to receive by July 17, 2026, assurances in writing that DHS records, documents, data, and information have not been and will not be destroyed, modified, removed, transferred, or otherwise rendered inaccessible. We don't have to beg. We don't have to plead. We don't have to grovel. We don't have to beseech. We have the Constitution. The Constitution is what we stand on. He belongs to us. He belongs to this Constitution of the United States of America. And thank God for Ms. Garcia with the foresight to bring all of us together so that you can get a better sense of what's going on. God bless you, dear lady. I yield back.
Thank you.